Yeah, of Atomic Habits by James Clear. Yes, we're looking at atomic habits that um, establish that tiny changes can bring remarkable results. And today we're going to be looking at chapter 3 that is titled How to Build Better Habits in 4 Simple Steps. Before we go into the hows of building better habits in 4 simple steps, let's look at this experiment that was performed in 1898 by a psychologist named Edward Thorndike, who conducted an experiment that would lay the foundation for our understanding of how habits form and the rules that guide our behavior. So Thorndike was interested in studying the behavior of animals, and he started by working with cats. So he placed cats inside a device known as a puzzle box, and the box was designed so that the cats will be able to escape through a door by pressing a lever or pressing a button, pulling up a loop of cord, stepping on a platform, and all of that. So anytime he dropped a cat inside the puzzle box, the first thing the cat would do was to scramble for escape. And he did it in such a way that if a cat is able to escape, there is food right outside the door as a reward for escaping out of the puzzle box. So the cats would struggle, they would do try and error, they would just be pressing on different things until they accidentally step on the lever or pull the lever, and the door would open, and then they will go out to find the food and eat the food. So this continued to happen. He did that with so many cats, and he tracked the behavior of each cat across many trials, right? And he found out that gradually the cats begin to master how to get out of this puzzle box. So as time went by, it took them lesser and lesser time to be able to pull the lever, get out of the door, and eat the food. For example, cat 12, a particular cat numbered 12, right? It was discovered that at first it took this cat 160 seconds, that's a little less than 3 minutes, to be able to locate the lever, to get the door open and go and eat the food. But the second attempt, it took him 30 seconds, and then afterwards 90 seconds, then 60 seconds, 15 seconds, and afterwards it took him just 6 seconds and 7 seconds to be able to press the lever. That means the brain was storing how this cat was finding solution. So the same thing has to do with habits. When you begin to do something repeatedly over and over, a time will come when it is no longer a struggle. It is no longer a try and error thing. It has now been programmed in your brain to say, okay, if there is a problem, this is the solution. That is the way habit works. So why your brain builds habits? A habit is a behavior that has been repeated enough times to become automatic. That is why it is called a habit. You are not struggling with it. It's not giving you issues. It just comes seamlessly. If it doesn't come seamlessly, then it is not yet a habit. You're still struggling with it. So the process of habit formation begins with try and error. It is not yet established, right? For example, if you want to form the habit of reading books, you just start by trying to, okay, let me pick this book. You eat the frog today, you drop it, the next time, and all of that. And after a while, you begin to develop habits for reading, or maybe reading a particular kind of book. Maybe Mills and Booms, maybe motivational books, maybe spiritual books, and all of that, right? Because your brain has now come to understand that, okay, this is what works for me. These are the strategies I can use. So there is neurological activity in the brain during this period that you're doing try and error, scouting around for what works for you. Occasionally, like a cat pressing a lever, you stumble across a solution. You are feeling anxious, and you discover that going for a run calms you down. Then it becomes a habit that anytime you are feeling anxious, you go for a run. Or maybe anytime you are moody, you are sad, what happens? You play music, a particular kind of music, and then your brain stores it. If it calms you down, it makes you feel better, then it becomes a habit that anytime you are sad and moody, you play this kind of music, right? So when a similar situation arises in the future, you know exactly what to look for. You know exactly what to do, because over time your brain has been storing it that, oh, when you have this kind of problem, you engage this kind of solution and it's worked for you. That is how your brain builds habits. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. You don't have to look for a new system. Your brain has stored it that, okay, don't forget you did this last time. Or probably eating earlier than 7 p.m. every night makes you sleep better. So over time it becomes a habit. You know that you have to eat your dinner before 7 p.m. if you want to sleep better. And even while a long time after that, in your 60s, 70s, everybody knows around you that, grandpa does not eat once it's after 7. Grandma does not eat anything once it is past 7 p.m. Do you understand? But despite their efficacy, despite the fact that habits can be so strong, some people still wonder about the benefits of habits. And they are worried that, is it that habits will take away our freedom? They see habits as a routine, and a lot of people don't like routine. They see it as something they have to do every now and then, and that rips them of their freedom or excitement or creativity. Like there's going to be boredom doing something over and over again. Like they are going to be bottled up. They will make it to make their lives dull. They don't want to pigeonhole themselves into a lifestyle that they don't enjoy. They don't want that routine that will take away their vibrancy and spontaneity and creativity, right? But that is not so. The author establishes that, in fact, if you do not have habits, that is when you are not going to have freedom. Habits help you to establish freedom. It doesn't take away your freedom. For example, if you do not form the habit of saving or investing or spending your money wisely, what happens when you grow older, when you retire, or when you are no longer able to work? It will take away your freedom, like we learned in the psychology of money. Saving can bring you freedom. It can buy you time, security, freedom, and all of that. So instead of you enjoying that freedom in your old age, what happens? You are now going to work. You are now doing 9-to-5 job. Or you've not formed the habit of waking up early to do what you have to do. Then the freedom is taken away from you every time somebody has to wake you up or to remind you. You feel like they're bossing you around. They are controlling you, right? So habits do not take away your freedom. Conversely, they give you freedom. Let me look for another example here. Yeah, we've talked of good financial habits. If you don't develop them, they are actually deprive you of financial freedom. That is what is happening to a lot of people. So good health habits. If you do not discipline yourself to build a good health habit, you will always seem to be short of energy. You'll be dealing with all kinds of illnesses that will now deprive you of the freedom that you want to enjoy. You want to go for a party, everybody is enjoying at that party. But because of ill health, you cannot enjoy as much as you want. You may not even be able to go in the first place. Maybe you're having arthritis, you're having diabetes, and you cannot eat what everybody is eating. So habits don't steal your freedom, right? Now let's look at the science of how habits work. The 4 steps that will actually help you to build good habits and to break bad habits. There are 4 of them. This 4-step pattern is the backbone of every habit, and your brain runs through these steps in the same order each time. The first one is cue, the second one is craving, the third one is response, and the fourth one is reward. So we'll take them one after the other. Cue, first of all. First, there is a cue. The cue triggers your brain to initiate a behavior. So it is a bit of information that predicts a reward. More like a hint, more like a signal that, oh, if you're able to do this thing, there is this reward that you can get. Probably the reward of food, good food, the reward of money, of promotion at work, of praise and approval, of a good marriage. So there is that cue, that hint, that signal that, oh, if I behave this way, if I develop this habit, if I'm able to do this thing, there's a reward ahead. So your mind is continually analyzing your internal and external environment for hints, for cues, for those things that you can do. You know that if you read every day, you are going to become so knowledgeable, so wise. You will always know what to do, right? So your brain, your mind is looking for that every day. Then the second one is cravings. These are the second steps, and they are the motivational force behind every habit. Now that you have the cue that if you do this particular thing, it can bring you this particular reward, then you begin to crave it. It is that craving that will give you the push to actually want to do that thing, to actually want to push for it. It is the motivation or the desire. And without that craving, there can be no change. If you don't have the craving, the desire, and the motivation you need to pursue the cue, no habit is going to be formed, because it means that you are probably not interested in it. It is not strong enough. For example, you do not crave smoking a cigarette. You crave the feeling of relief it brings. So it is not about the craving. What you crave is not the habit itself, but the change, the reward that it is going to bring. Like, oh, if I do my job diligently, if I bring so amount of sales to the company, I'm going to be promoted. If I get promoted, it means more money in my account. If there's more money in my account, my family is going to be happy. My children can go for vacation, and I am going to be richer. So you begin to crave it, and it pushes you into action, right? So you are motivated by brushing your teeth. You are not motivated by brushing your teeth, but rather the feeling of a clean mouth. There are things that we don't do for the sake of doing them, but because if we do them, our lives can be better, others can perceive us better, or if we don't do them, then we'll be in a big mess. Maybe you wake up in the morning, you don't feel like brushing your teeth, but you know that if you go around with your stinking mouth, people are going to run away from you. You will not feel confident. You will not want to open your mouth to speak. And that can make your whole day to be a total mess, right? It will reduce your self-esteem. Or maybe you are reading. You don't feel like reading, but you know that if you read, you have a chance of being invited to be a speaker, to be knowledgeable, and things like that. Let's go for, okay, before we go to the next one, cravings differ from person to person, right? So what you crave may not be what I crave. If you feel that the reward you get from this cue is not worth it, like people who play bets or who go for the casino, they are looking forward to it, so they are craving it. Now it is pushing them into that habit. Somebody like me, who I don't play a casino, I don't do bets, I don't do anything. If I hear the sound of a casino, I've been to a casino before, and I saw old people playing so passionately, you know, and all of that. I mean, very old people, like in their 80s and 90s, you know, playing so passionately. But I wasn't moved. It didn't make any sense to me. In fact, I'll ask myself, what do they even derive from this thing? That's because I don't crave what they crave. Now I crave reading every day. But other people, some other persons may not crave that because they don't see what I see. They are not moved by the kind of reward I see from reading books. Right. Let's go to the third one quickly, and that is response. Now that you have the cue, the hint that, oh, if you do this thing, you get this reward, and you have the craving to pursue it, the force, the motivation, the desire. Now the next thing is response. The response is the actual habit to perform. You now respond to it. You now take steps to actually do it, right? And this can take the form of a thought or an action. Whether a response or cause depends on how motivated you are and how much friction is associated with the behavior. If your motivation is strong enough, there will definitely be a response. You will definitely act towards it, right? If a particular action requires more physical or mental effort than you are willing to expend, then you won't do it. If you feel that it is too much of a hassle, you will not do it. That's why people don't do things. They form a habit today, and before you know it, in 6 days, they are tired. They drop it by the wayside. Maybe it's a struggle for them. They don't find it easy and all of that, right? The fourth one is the reward. Rewards are the end goal of every habit. What do you achieve from this habit? Whether it's a good habit or a bad habit. There's some people who have very bad financial habits, but they just like it that, oh, they're able to lavish their money, they're able to go to a bar and order drinks for everybody. It boosts their ego, and they keep doing it, right? So the rewards are the end goal. The cue is about noticing the reward. The craving is about wanting the reward. Now the response is about obtaining the reward. So we chase rewards because they serve two purposes. Number one, they satisfy us, and number two, they teach us. So every reward you get satisfies your cravings. It boosts your self-esteem. It puts more money in your account. It makes you to become that better person that you really want to become. For example, going to work is a habit for many of us. Why? Because there's a reward attached to it, and that is your salary. Promotion may also come along the way. Recognition may come. Fame, power may come. So if you don't go to work, what happens? No money. How do you pay your bills? You may feel worthless, staying at home every day. So a lot of people go to work because of the necessity attached. There is a reward. If you remove the reward, how many people will go to work? Number two, it teaches us something. It teaches you that your actions are worth remembering in the future. If your brain has stored up a particular thing, it has detected a solution to a problem. Now, it keeps your life going, that every time you encounter this problem, you already know what to do. So, we can split these 4 steps into 2 phases, the problem phase and the solution phase. The problem phase includes the cue and the craving. And it is when you realize that something needs to change. The solution phase includes the response and the reward, and it is when you take action and achieve the desired reward, or you achieve the change you desire. All behavior is driven by the desire to solve a problem. You want to be richer, you want to be healthier, you want to be more powerful, you want to be famous, you want to be knowledgeable, you want to be a graduate, right? So your behavior will now push you into achieving that. Sometimes the problem is that you notice something good and you want to obtain it. Sometimes the problem is that you're experiencing pain and you want to relieve it. Either way, the purpose of every habit is to solve the problem you face. By the time you become habits, you rarely even notice that some habits have become formed in your life. For example, maybe you pick your teeth after eating. I know somebody who cannot do without picking her teeth. Even if she drinks water, she will pick her teeth. Yes. So it has become a habit that she has formed over the years, and now that she's in her 70s, she cannot stop it. Or maybe anytime you leave the house, you switch off the light. It has become a habit, right? But sometimes you don't even realize it. We just feel, oh, it's a normal thing. But it has become a habit. For example, when I was growing up, my mom used to, anytime she was cooking, she wouldn't pile up plates or whatever the cooking utensils. As she's cooking, she's washing immediately, such that by the time she's done cooking, the kitchen is neat. There are no plates or pots or whatever piled up in the sink to now start washing. No. So I picked up that habit as well. Whenever I'm cooking, I don't pile up things. I clean immediately. I cook and clean. I cook and clean. Right? I picked it up because that was what I was trained with. And now that I am grown, it has become a part of me. If somebody does otherwise, it makes me feel somehow like, come on, how can you be piling up things like that, My lights, what's up? All right, the 4 laws of behavior change. This is the last thing we're looking at. In the following chapters, we will see time and again how the 4 stages of cue, craving, response, and reward influence nearly everything we do each day. But before we do that, we need to transform these 4 steps into a practical framework that we can use to design good habits and eliminate bad habits. So the author refers to this framework as the 4 laws of behavior change, and it provides a simple set of rules for creating good habits and breaking bad ones. So for example, if you want to create good habits, we'll still make use of the 4 steps of cue, craving, response, and reward. So if you want to form good habits, this is what you do. Make the cue, that hint that is suggesting that you should do that thing, make it did I say good habits? Yeah, if you want to form good habits, make the cue very obvious. In fact, you can tell somebody about it. What about if I do this thing? Say it out, make it obvious, make it very visible, such that you cannot dismiss it. Then the craving, make the craving attractive, the motivation, the desire, push for it. Let people see it. Let them know that you are aiming for something, right? Then the response, make it easy. Find a way around it. For example, you want to read. You really, really want to be knowledgeable. You know that there are rewards attached to it. And the motivation is there, but the response, how do you take action? It's a struggle for you. Now find a way to make it easy. Break it down. Somebody said something in my reading club today that, oh, when he wakes up in the morning, he will read a part of the chapter. Later at night, before the review, he will read the remaining. So break it down into something that is easy for you. You want to lose weight, for example. It looks like I'm sweating. You want to lose weight, for example, right? Tell yourself that, oh, when you wake up in the morning, you do 10 minutes of exercise in your living room or around your compound. If you think that going to the gym will be so much of a hassle for you, so make it easy. Make the good habits you're trying to build easy. Then the reward, make it satisfying. Make it big, such that nobody will be able to deny that they don't see it. Even you will know that, yes, I really worked hard for this. It is satisfying. You love it. If it is money, make sure the money comes big. Enjoy it. Take yourself out. Then the opposite will apply to breaking bad habits. Make the cue invisible. If the suggestion comes to your brain, dismiss it. Pray about it. Reject it. Say your positive word of affirmation to counter it. Then the craving, make it unattractive. Lose motivation immediately. Lose the desire to do it immediately. You can speak to somebody. You can reject it as well. Make it unattractive, like, I hate it. Say all kinds of terrible words that you can say to condemn that act. The craving. Then make the response difficult. You will just not be able to do it. It's tough. Tell yourself that it's tough. You won't do it. Then make the reward unsatisfying. Like you're not going to enjoy it. As you will see, the 4 laws of behavior change apply to nearly every field, from politics, arts, medicine, teaching, and so on. Whenever you want to change your behavior, you can simply ask yourself, how can I make it obvious? How can I make it attractive? How can I make it easy? How can I make it satisfying? But have you ever wondered, why don't I do what I say I'm going to do? Why don't I lose the weight or stop smoking or save for retirement or start that side business? Why do I say something is important but never seem to make time for it? The answers to those questions can be found somewhere in the 4 laws. The key to creating good habits and breaking bad ones is to understand these fundamental laws and how to alter them to your specifications. Every goal is doomed to fail if it goes against the grain of human nature. If you are not going to get reward from it, you are not going to do it. So think of the reward, think of the benefit. The reason why you are not able to form that good habit is that the reward is not big to you enough. It's not attractive. You don't think it is satisfying. So think of a very satisfying result. Like if you work hard, you'll be able to travel to the Bahamas. You'll be able to go to France for a holiday. Imagine your children being happy in their school, having a very good life. Your habits are shaped by the system in your life. And we're going to talk more about it in the pages that follow. Now, this is the summary of this chapter. A habit is a behavior that has been repeated enough times to become automatic. The ultimate purpose of habits is to solve the problems of life with as little energy and effort as possible. Any habit can be broken down into a feedback loop that involves 4 steps: cue, cravings, response, and reward. Then the 4 laws of behavior change are a simple set of rules we can use to build better habits. And they are: number 1, make it obvious; number 2, make it attractive; number 3, make it easy; and number 4, make it satisfying. I hope you are blessed by tonight's review. Thank you so much for joining me on this review. Please don't forget to like this video, share your comments in the comment section below, and please subscribe to this channel in case you're yet to subscribe. I remain Olaide Agbaje, also known as First Lady. And on this channel, I inspire you to live intentionally. We'll come together tomorrow again by God's grace as we begin with the first law that says, make it obvious. And we'll look at the chapter 4 titled, The Man Who Didn't Look Right. It's going to be another interesting review. Until then, be intentional. Bye. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for the feedback. God bless you.